Hello, and welcome to Talking GTA Episode 17. I'm your host, Hugo One, and this is a podcast about all things Grand Theft Auto related. Last episode was the first episode of the year, and I kind of talked about the things I hope to see in 2023. And of course, we talked about all the different GTA related things in the comments and emails. And I'm going to get into the comments from that video right now. So Tyler says, Yo, Hugo, love the podcast. Keep it up. Something I'd love to see in GTA 6 would be like an unlockable randomizer mode similar to the mod earned after finishing the game, or a chaos mod style mode unlocked in the same way. I really enjoy playing through the games with those mods because it's always refreshing and fun, especially on SA when you get a car for St. Mark's Bistro with randomizer. I'd love to see more customization options such as being able to customize clothing or more than we can do with our own selection of colors. Even the option to customize boats, planes, or whatever other wacky vehicles they give us would be cool. Hope you're doing well, man. Much love. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it. As far as randomizer or chaos mod, I think those are like excellent. I think they just offer like such a new way to play these games by basically adding nothing. Well, I mean, I guess Chaos had some stuff, but a lot of it is just using what's already in the game in different ways, and that makes it a lot of fun. So, yeah, if there was some kind of official way to do that with the new game, I would think that was an awesome way to give more life to the single player mode, while still, I mean, obviously they're not going to have to take much away from online to make that happen, but it's a way for people to play the single player mode over and over and over again, because it would be so different and it would be something new, and there'd be tons of like online content created around it because people would show their funny clips of different stuff happening with randomizers or whatever. So I think Rockstar would I think be praised if they added something like that into the game, definitely. As far as customization and stuff for the options, I think that would be great, especially online, because you want to stand out among the other online players, and if you can kind of customize your clothes to always be the same color, or whatever, not have to just choose what's in the store, you can have more freedom to come up with the things you want, would be pretty cool. And it'll help you stand out among the other players online. So thank you, Tyler, for that. Appreciate it. All right, next one from Joshua. It says, Hey, Hugo Meng, love the Chilled Vibe podcast. Longtime YouTube fan. I've always wondered why there has never been a proper competitor to the GTA franchise. Like, sure, there's a few such as Saints Row, etc., but there's never been a proper open world crime video game which can be compared to GTA. Do you think if there were more fierce competition, Rockstar Games will be more productive, or that would not affect Rockstar Games production at all? Low key, always wanted a rivalry production studio to introduce a similar style crime game, which will make Rockstar be more invested in their production and output of content besides GTA Online. Blah. Anyway, love the podcast, homie. Keep it up. Knocking you out, smoking your money. Thank you, Joshua, for the comment. Appreciate it. I don't know. I've never played Saints Row. I haven't played much Saints Row, but I guess there's a lot of these other games that are kind of similar. And they're just, in my opinion, just not as good as GTA. So I think people have tried and failed to be as big as GTA. But if there was something else that was kind of basically the same idea, then yeah, maybe it would bring their player base online way down. So then they would have to kind of figure something else out. But because they are the main show in town, as far as the way the GTA is, it does help them kind of coast with the content they're putting out right now, and not focusing on newer, more innovative, crazy stuff or whatever. But who knows if they well, if that would even change anything. That's just wishful thinking, I guess, but who knows. Thank you, Joshua, appreciate it. Rain Fire says, I still hope they'll implement the United Americas concept and give GTA a real open world experience to GTA as a whole. I think the GTA community would go stir crazy for that. Even I believe it would surpass GTA 5 and its online. I feel I can dream, right? I think a lot of people dream for that. I think I even saw something about a new mod coming out that is kind of a United kind of states kind of mod for GTA or whatever. But of course, we want the official one, and we want Rockstar to do it, and you know, they can really connect, even if they just put like a I don't know, did some kind of remastering or upgrading to Liberty City. You have a really well done city that could fit in with Los Santos and Vice City, and we could connect them all just on that. And you can always kind of build from that and add more cities. And we have this huge map that, you know, in the future, single player DLC could maybe span multiple locations, or of course online could span it all. You know, you can go to and from all these different places or whatever. Obviously that would be fucking take up like, you know, your entire hard drive or whatever, but still, you know, they have these great cities that like Liberty City, that's kind of just sitting empty and not being used. Not that it's an actual place that is sitting empty, but it's just such a great thing that existed in time, and it kind of exists in the past currently because it's not being used, and it could be used, and it could be used well. So yeah, I would love to see some kind of united something like that. You know, Rockstar themselves talked about it. They're the ones that mentioned a United States kind of a huge map or whatever. So hopefully that does happen. Thank you, Rainfire. Force Swoop says, while I don't care about remakes, for me, the DE isn't different enough to the OG games to justify buying them again. An official PC port of LCS and VCS would be awesome. I played through the story of LCS thanks to a mod for Vice City, and it was pretty cool. Sadly, couldn't go for 100% due to certain side missions being broken. Still a pretty awesome total conversion mod. I know emulators exist, but on those, I can never get the controls right as a keyboard and mouse player, so I absolutely agree on potential PC ports for those games, but it's been so long, 10 plus years now, I don't think the chance is high for them, sadly. Yeah, that's basically why I thought it would have to be like a definitive edition, something that, you know, the point of it is to take advantage of new hardware and, you know, all the things of today, and make them happen in that way, checkpoints and all that stuff. But who knows? I guess it all kind of comes down to the music licensing and stuff, the reason why they didn't just continue on to each new console or whatever. But I would still love to see it. I wish they could make it happen. But thank you for the comment, friend. Garage Next Door says, Driver Parallel Lines was based in the 70s for the first half. So there you go. There's a 70s style kind of like GTA game. And I guess Driver was also a GTA style game like we were talking about before. GTA competitors and stuff. Another game that I just didn't play. I never really gave anything else a chance. Once I got my hands on GTA 3, that was kind of it for me. The GTA series was all I really wanted to play. In addition to a few other things here and there, and then a lot of sports games and Guitar Hero and stuff like that. But thank you, Garage Door. Jency, our friend Jency with 1 million comments. I'm going to get through some of them. He says, Lamar is financially helping Franklin with his GTA Online business. Okay, so that's from the new update. Franklin and Lamar are similar to Sweet and CJ or Ryder and CJ. In the sense that they're friends, I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I understand what you're saying. Like, I guess they kind of have an interesting relationship where it's not always so great, but you could say they're like Michael and Trevor then, even though the Trevor's craziness makes those kind of weird differences extreme. But yeah, just regular dudes that are friends, I guess. The Jency also says some missions soft lock on GTA defective, like GTA Runner in GTA Vice City. Nothing happens after you complete all objectives. Mission doesn't complete, you're stuck and not being able to save. No missions, no side missions, no rampages state. Yeah, I guess you're talking about Gun Runner in Vice City. I had a issue with that. I mean, as we all did when the game first launched, you couldn't pass the mission. And I actually sent Rockstar a support ticket. So what was happening at the time was Grove Street Games people were like, if you have a problem with the game, open a support ticket with Rockstar support or whatever. So I was like, okay, so I would do that for all these things. Here I am thinking, all right, I'm gonna tell them what the issue is, and they're gonna fucking add it to the list of things that need to get fixed. And maybe that happened, but in the case of Gun Runner, for Vice City, I said, hey, On Gun Runner, you can't complete the mission. You can't even, well, you can beat the game, but you can't 100% the game or anything like that. You can't do all the missions because Gun Runner doesn't work. And they replied and said, oh, we're sorry you're having an issue with GTA Online gun running. Can you give us some more information? Blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what? Did you even read the email? I said Gun Runner in Vice City. And they were like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, we got it now or whatever. Thank you for letting us know, blah, 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 blah. And, eventually it did get fixed. So it works now. It's not a problem still. There was a lot of updates. I know you guys were very busy being angry at the world that you didn't notice all the updates that happened. So yes, a lot of things got fixed, and you can beat that mission now. But thank you, Jency. Jency also says GTA 6 trailer will have either 80s music or modern 80s themed music. Do you work for Rockstar? I mean, how would you know that? You say these things as if they are the facts, man, and I just don't know where you're getting this information, okay? Rockstar's canceled Agent was set in the 70s in London or something. Okay. Well, thank you, Jency. Appreciate it. Thank you. So those are some of the comments on YouTube. I also want to say thanks to a bunch of other people who commented positive stuff or just said hello. Claudie, Sven, Zachary, another Josh, Abdul, Jamin, who just got out of jail, Mr. Screen, Pepsi Man, and everybody else who commented. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, now let's move on and talk some GTA.
Somebody caught a medic.
Okay, so something I wanted to talk about this week, or so somebody asked me during a stream recently, what do you think happened to CJ after the events of San Andreas? So, and this is, I already know that there's going to be a comment from Jency saying, oh, well, CJ fucking walked down the street and then Sweet came up behind him and said, we got to go to Cluckenbell because Jency has all the answers. But if you're not Jency, if you're one of us normal people, we have some thoughts and feelings about what may have happened or what could have happened or, things like that. So this is what came up, and this is what I hope happened. So as we know, at the end of San Andreas, Tenpenny's dead. Spoiler alert, by the way. Tenpenny's dead. Smoke is dead. Supposedly everything's supposed to be back to normal. And they're in the Johnson house on Grove Street, and CJ just goes and steps back out into the world, and you can control him, and he can do whatever he wants at that point after the storyline. But you hear all the characters saying the things that they want to do. Mad Dog wants to go on tour. Kendall wants to go to the casino with Woozie and Venturis. Sweet, of course, wants to stay home and do more gangbanging, even though he has nothing to prove to anybody, but he's still fucked up. So that's why CJ has to step out, and he's like, fuck it. I'm just going to go do my thing, do what I know to do, is be on the streets and stuff. So anyway, let's say in the world of San Andreas, the story continues. What I hope happens is CJ, continues to work with Woozie and Venturis and continues to work, at the garage in San Fierro with Caesar and Kendall, and they get all those businesses booming and they're making lots of money and everything's going well for them. I've heard this theory a couple places. People have mentioned it here on the podcast and elsewhere, that apparently people think Tony Cipriani, that Sal sent Tony Cipriani to kill CJ, and he did. And I guess some of that comes from people saying that, Tony went away for a while and he came back during LCS, and that's why he had to go away, because he had killed somebody. But I think somebody made the point that he said he killed a made man, and obviously CJ wasn't a made man. He wasn't in the mafia. So that doesn't add up. But, this could have happened. I didn't write the story, and I don't know if the Rockstar even knows. So Tony could have killed CJ. But that's unconfirmed, and that's just a theory. So I don't know. I don't think CJ could be stopped by Tony Cipriani or anybody that Sal sent after him. But in GTA 5, on Hood Safari, I think Lamar says something like, oh, Grove Street used to be family's territory, even though, because now it's taken over by the Ballas. And Franklin's like, oh, what happened to him? And Lamar said, oh, they either moved on, became CEOs, or are dead or in jail or whatever. So I think CJ is the CEO of the Four Dragons Casino in Las Venturas, or the, such and such garage in Doherty, and car mods, lowriders, all that shit. Or, somewhere else. Who knows? He got another business started. And then the ones that's dead or in jail or whatever is, obviously Ryder, Smoke, and hopefully Sweet, if everything worked out the way I would want it to. So that's kind of my guess as to what CJ was doing after San Andreas, just being successful with the things that he set up in, the storyline of San Andreas. I don't think that he would continue on with the gangbanging and stuff, because he proved to Sweet that he could do it. Sweet, I mean, there's really nothing Sweet can say at this point, because CJ did do everything that Sweet wanted him to do. He took over all the territories. He took down Smoke. He took down Ryder, even though Sweet didn't say shit about that. But he took down all their enemies in the city. Obviously not rival gangs, but anybody who was, going to stop them from being a successful gang for what they had or whatever. But I think that's another reason why the Ballers got the Grove Street in GTA 5, is because CJ was like, I'm done with this shit. Sweet, you handle it. Sweet couldn't handle it. So therefore the Ballers got the Grove Street. So, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts about it. If you have other thoughts or you have a theory, please share it with us. You can give us a call, 1-818-691-5807, or you can email talkinggta69@gmail.com and tell me what you think about CJ after the story ends, or about any of the characters from San Andreas or any other GTA game. I like to talk about that type of stuff. So thank you for listening to me rant and rave about that. Now let's get into the emails.
What's happening, homeboy?
Okay, first email. Guess who? It's Jency. Jency says, what's your favorite GTA radio station and favorite song? Favorite GTA radio station is KDST The Dust, with Tommy the Nightmare Smith, voiced by Axl Rose in San Andreas. I love that station. I love the songs, classic rock vibe. I loved the little bumpers that, from the fires in Los Santos to the deserts in Bone County, you're on the dust. I've always thought that was really cool. Axl Rose, or Tommy the Nightmare Smith, funny as fuck. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed his commentary a lot. Favorite song is on that station, and it's Young Turks. Love some Young Turks. It's my favorite GTA song for sure. On that station, I also like Hold the Line and countless others. I mean, there's a ton. As far as San Andreas goes, I also like Radio X, specifically listen to that when I'm in San Fierro. It always felt like that was the vibe of that city, and it worked perfectly. Loved Sage on Radio X, thought she was awesome and funny. And then in LS, I listened to Radio Los Santos, perfect vibe for that city and those missions. Julio G was awesome, and all the stuff on all the radio stations. There's a bunch of good stuff in San Andreas. And then outside of San Andreas, Vice City had a lot of different songs I liked on a lot of different stations. But after we ranked all of the GTA radio stations, I realized that Emotion was definitely my favorite on that in that game. I also liked Flash and some of the other ones as well. GTA 3 Flashback was my favorite. All the Scarface music on there, but also Game FM and Lips 106 and Head Radio. And then, sorry, I know I'm just going on everything. Just a couple more. GTA 4, I don't know that I really liked many of the stations in that game. Liberty Rock Radio, I thought had some good ones, but it wasn't great. It wasn't KDST. And then Flashing Lights was on one of the other stations by Kanye, and I like that song. What else? And in 5, I listened to Los Santos Rock Radio with Captain Loggins. Kenny Loggins as the DJ had a nice yacht rock vibe, especially early on. After the next gen of consoles, Xbox One and PlayStation 4, which is so long ago at this point, but once the game moved to that, they added more songs that kind of messed up the vibe of the station with good songs, but just were totally different than the vibe it had going. Um, but West Coast Classics was also good on in GTA 5. And of course, talk radio across all of them. There's always a lot of good talk radio stuff. In 5, I loved Blaine County Radio. So anyway, thank you, Jency, for that. Sorry, I was going on and on about that stuff. Okay, next email. Hey, Hugo, been loving your podcast. I wanted to add on what you mentioned last episode when you were talking about that troll, about where you mentioned how Rockstar has always been pretty progressive company. If you remember back in Vice City Stories, there's Rennie, who's a transgender character, and while satirized, of course, alongside everything in the series with where they had multiple transitions in the game's story, they were never portrayed in negative or offensive light, which is crazy considering the game came out back in the early 2000s where trans characters were pretty unheard of in more mainstream games. Keep coming out with more episodes. I've been enjoying them all. And hope you had a great week. Hugo from Natalie Ponage Soldier. Thank you, Natalie, for the email. Appreciate it. Yeah, I unfortunately don't remember Vice City Stories because I never played that one, which I will play eventually. But yeah, that's one of the, I guess, probably the biggest title I haven't got to. Actually, haven't got to Ballad of Gay Tony or The Lost and Damned either, but you know, these are the ones that kind of fell through the cracks with me. That's why I missed them. But yeah, it seemed like a lot of people on YouTube and elsewhere had you know, positive feedback about kind of, you know, where us, I guess, good folks stand as far as the stuff people are angry about that is just totally outrageous. Which is what you were mentioning, what that troll was talking about. So yeah, Rockstar, you probably, for those that are worried Rockstar is going to do something, you know, what you consider bad or whatever. Yeah, they've always been doing these things, like you said. So that was a great example. I appreciate the email. Appreciate it, friend. Thank you. Next one from Mike the Nerd. What's up, Hugo? I saw the podcast and it was amazing. As always, I hope you had a wonderful day today. And on with the email. 1, does Rockstar saying that they're not going to punch down on marginalized groups mean that they won't be referencing or have jokes be made about them at all? I hope not, because I think that would send a message saying that they are soft and can't take jokes at all, which is not true for any group, because I think some of them would like to laugh at themselves just as much as the majority groups would like to. Well, I think to answer that, I think Natalie just made a good point about that, about how, you know, there was, you know, I guess a trans character and, you know, there were, you know, jokes and stuff, but nothing offensive or hurtful or whatever. And so, yeah, the Rockstar knows what they're doing. I don't think they're here to like put anybody down or anything like that. But yeah, I understand what you're saying, Mike. 2, I wonder what it would be like if Rockstar made backstory DLC with it taking place in the protagonist's lives before the main game took place, progressing throughout multiple years, besides the one off-mission prologue in GTA 5. Like Nico Bellic during the Yugoslav wars, or Michael and Trevor's bank robberies during the 90s, or a new protagonist helping out Tony Prince on his beginning and rise of being a nightclub businessman during the late 80s and 90s. I think that would be awesome. That's the type of stuff I would love to have, because I, you know, like to hear, like I was talking about before, what happened to CJ after San Andreas. I'd also like to know what happened with him before San Andreas, and what led to him leaving and what led to Brian's death and stuff like that. But yeah, all the things you talked about right there would be great. But of course, it seems like, well, not necessarily recently, but, you know, actors, voice actors or whatever, having an issue with Rockstar not wanting to, I guess, play nice with them. I'm sure they would do their character again if they were paid, you know, what they thought they were owed or what they were willing to work for. But because they have some bad blood with Rockstar, it sounds like it would maybe be more than they, you know, originally worked for. But those ideas are great. I agree. Which they could always use a different voice actor, like they did with Tony Cipriani from 3 to, you know, Liberty City Stories. But that's always weird when they do stuff like that. So, but good idea nonetheless. And then the third point, Mike says, I heard some people said that they preferred GTA 6 to be set in the 80s in Vice City again. But a modern day setting would make sense because it'll be a modern day version of Vice City. Plus, it being set in the 80s again would lean into nostalgia from Vice City, which would be too cliche. Well, I originally was not looking forward to a modern day Vice City. I just didn't think it would be all that interesting. I thought the Vice City setting was perfect for that 80s time period that they did with GTA Vice City. And so I thought a modern day one just wouldn't be as interesting. But when I saw the leaks, I was like, oh, this looks really fucking cool. So I was happy to see that it looked like something I would like just based on that little bit that we saw. So yeah, I'm down for modern day now, as I was hoping for something throwback if it was going to be Vice City. But yeah, modern day Vice City will be fine. Thanks for reading this email, and I'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it, friend. All right, next email. Hey, Hugo, with Laszlo gone, do you think he'll be in GTA 6 at all? I'm hoping is at least still in the game as a radio personality or some sort of TV host like in GTA 5. Kiflom, brother Josh. Thank you, brother Josh, for the email. I would say I hope so. I think that if Laszlo didn't leave on bad terms with, whoever's in charge, which I guess is Sam Hauser at Rockstar, that he could at least, yes, come in and just read some lines for a radio show or something like that. He doesn't have to put in the hours that he probably put in previously on writing, pedestrian voice lines and all the radio shows and all that stuff. He can just be the Laszlo character on the radio, because we love that classic. People that have been playing GTA forever will miss him dearly if he's not in the game in some capacity. People that just got into the series with GTA 5 will be like, hey, that's that dude that we tattooed a dick on in GTA 5. Oh God, he's back, or whatever. And that's fine. But, for the classic GTA fans, it would be great to have Laszlo do something with the game. Yes, thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. All right, next email. Hey, Hugo, Clay Doggy here. Just a few things. One, I wanted to comment on something you read in the last podcast by Woods the Wall and having options for difficulty in GTA games. I'm 100% for it. GTA games in the past have all had a very Nintendo mentality to them. You get it the way we want it, and that's it. At least GTA gives you some controller settings here and there. I'd love if the next GTA opened this up a bit, including more accessibility options, as that's becoming more prevalent in games now, which I think is great. 2, a few episodes ago, you covered the real-life Banshee. I completely forgot about that, and even though I was in that contest, thanks for the reminder and history lesson on that. 3, last episode, I think it was DJ Endzone who brought up that GTA Murder City movie. Along with that, you ever catch that movie, The Game Changers, about San Andreas, hot coffee, and that idiot Jack Thompson? It was pretty good. 4, just wanted to put this out there. Anyone hoping for a release date for the next GTA game, keep in mind every GTA game gets delayed multiple times. Even if it says February 2024, that means late 2024 at the earliest. That's all for now. Much love to you and all the homies. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Clay Doggy. Appreciate it. Yeah, I totally expect, the GTA 6 or whatever you want to call it, release to be pushed back at some point. I definitely expect that to happen. But that could change. Maybe it has been so long since an actual real GTA release that maybe that'll be different. But I would be fine with that at this point, because I would just be happy that we had some kind of solid info from Rockstar about something, about its existence, about it being somewhat close to finished. So yeah. As far as the movie The Game Changers, I have not seen it. I heard about it, but I never actually got to watch it. I did read the book called Jacked about Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto and Jack Thompson and hot coffee and all that stuff. It was excellent, actually. I'd like to read it again one day. It's really good. I'd love to get the author to sign a copy for my GTA collection. And I went and followed him on Twitter, and I was going to send him a message and say, hey, can I have a signed copy of your book? I love GTA games. But I never did. I was too pussy to even ask the dude. So, but he's like a legitimate journalist and author and stuff. So he probably doesn't want fucking me bothering him. But maybe I'll ask him one day. Anyway, that was a good book, but I got to see that movie if I can find it sometime. Other than that, yeah, thank you for the comments, Clay Doggy. As always, appreciate it, friend. Oh, here's Woods the Wall. So here you go. Sup, Hugo. So, as you know, I was enjoying Red Dead Redemption 2 over the Christmas break. And while I don't want to rescind any of the praise I gave it, some more time with the game has highlighted an issue for me: lack of freedom in missions. That's one thing I really hope Rockstar addresses in GTA 6, the sheer number of fail states that can happen. They need to loosen the chains and let players approach a task however they want. There will always be a place for these big set pieces and heavily scripted sequences, but don't fail me for walking 5 steps out of the mission area. What's your perspective on that? All the best, homie Woods. Yeah, no, I agree completely. I think that was a big issue in GTA 5, and I notice it a lot as I do some of these mods, Chaos mod, Rainbow Miser mod, where the missions get really weird. And in the older games, I did have the freedom to do whatever. I get teleported across the map. I got to make it back. I got to do this thing, that thing. I got to kill the person with a car instead of a gun, or whatever the case may be. Or they fell in the water or something like that. That was always it's always fun to get creative with stuff like that. With GTA 5, when I do those same kind of mods, Chaos, Rainbow Miser, randomizers, it is like instant fail because of something crazy happened. You know, a whale was in the way of the truck, mission failed. You know, they couldn't goddamn drive around it or something like that. So yeah, I really despise the lack of freedom that we do have nowadays in these games, and being able to complete them the way we want to, or get creative, like I said. So yeah, that is my biggest issue with the newer games. So yeah, I agree. Thank you, Woods. All right, next email. Hey, what's up, Hugo? Not sure if this was already asked. If it was, my bad, playa. But what if GTA 6 included not only Vice City, but Los Santos, as well as Liberty City, San Fierro, Las Venturas? It would seem very fitting with Project Americas as the working title. Maybe GTA 6 would launch with just Vice City, and additional cities could end up being DLC with additional story missions as well. I just watched the Jizzy's video on the Stars and Stripes mod, where not only all of the 3D universe maps are all in one, but more areas are added, and it seems pretty awesome. Maybe GTA 6 would end up doing something ambitious like that. What do you think about this? Would it be a good idea, or would it just make the game super bloated? Love the vids and the streams. Keep up the great work, from Dance Wizard. Thank you, Dance Wizard. Appreciate it. I think that, yeah, no, we talked about that before, and again, I think it's what a lot of people want. It just seems like, obviously, like I talked about before, the Liberty City, Los Santos, these things are already in place and can just be connected, and we can have this mega game. But as far as adding new cities on top of that, I don't know if they want to put the manpower into that, when, you know, it's been so easy to just have, like, for the last 10 years, one map and just a bunch of online DLC updates. But if they did add all the, you know, this incredibly large map and all these different places, then I think the players would love it. I don't think they'd be too bothered by it. I think that would be something that most people would like. And if it's like paid DLC, I think a lot of people would buy it, especially if your friends have it. Oh, your friends have the, you know, Las Venturas map or whatever, then you have to go get it too, and they can make some money that way. But I just don't expect it to happen. I think that it's going to be Vice City and kind of, I mean, well, who knows what else, but I don't know if it will be all connected like we want. I hope so. I think it's a great idea. Thank you, Dance Wizard. Appreciate it. All right, next email from DJ Endzone. Hello, I don't know if anyone asked you this already, but if they did, I do apologize. But what songs do you plan on hearing on the radio in GTA 6? Me personally, I think it'll be cool to hear some Uncle Luke and Two Live Crew, since they're from Florida. Two Live Crew actually have a song in Vice City called Get It Girl on Wild Style. I'll also love to hear Trick Daddy, Plies, Pitbull, and many more. I already know they'll mostly add newer artists as well, like Kodak Black, XXX Tentacion, and many more for those. What artists would you like to hear on the radio? Well, I like to listen to a lot of old stuff, so anything that, is like 80s music would be great. Yeah, I would love if they had like a Vice City radio station that was songs from Vice City from the actual game, the previous game of Vice City. But, it would be weird to kind of mix the genres together. So maybe each radio station could have a throwback jam from Vice City, that would be pretty cool. But yeah, all the artists you name, any kind of Miami artists or just Florida in general, or some, maybe like a Southern hip hop channel specifically that could highlight a lot of the Southern hip hop that's been around in the last couple of decades that maybe didn't get a chance to shine on some of these, the East Coast, West Coast games. Now you have like this Southern modern day game where that type of thing would be cool. So we shall see. But thank you, DJ. I want to see you in the game, DJ Endzone. I want to see you on one of the radio stations being the DJ and shouting us out and telling everybody that the people, the classic GTA lovers are the coolest. We're way cooler than the newer GTA lovers. We're going to go to war with the GTA noobs. No, I'm just kidding. But that's it for the emails this week. Also, no phone calls this week, which that's fine. You can continue to email and comment. I don't mind reading them all. It's fine. Or maybe I can bring Justin back or something like that. But here we are in the dead of winter and not a lot happening in GTA. Don't be mad if, you come back 2 weeks from now and there's not a new podcast. Maybe we got to push it back a week or two or something like that because not much is going on or not much to talk about or whatever. But I do appreciate everybody that listens. If you're listening now and listened all the way through to the end of this, you're great. You're awesome. If you emailed, commented, all that stuff, thank you. I really appreciate this little community we got that wants to talk GTA every week or every 2 weeks or now every month. Who knows? But it's a lot of fun and I appreciate it. I always appreciate the interaction and the discussion because I love to talk about these things. And that's why we have this place to talk about GTA, of course. So anyway, that's it for me. Let me see. Before I get out of here, I do want to give a quick shout out to the YouTube homies, Mill, Mr. Hypnotic, Fanny, Monster Cats, Jonathan Miller, Zach W. Lucas, Katsuni Teku, True Forever, all the homies that are joined on YouTube, and anybody else out there that I have forgot to shout out. I love you. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it. I'm out of here. See you next time. Peace.